I'm with you today on the banks of the Yangtze River in China, the place where Mao Zedong did his famous swim to sort of show that he had the youthful exuberance to lead China forward. What's that? Oh, okay, I'm being told this is actually Lake Brant and not the Yangtze River in China. But anyways, today we're going to talk about the Chinese Cultural Revolution in 1968. There's really three major revolutions in 20th century Chinese history. One is the revolution that essentially got rid of the dynasties and the monarchy in China, and that was successful in 1911 under the leadership of Sun Yat-sen to sort of destroy the Qing dynasty. Then there's the revolution that was successful by 1949, or at least successful by their standards, that brought the communists to power under the leadership of Mao Zedong in 1949. This was certainly viewed by American leaders as a tragedy, as a sort of they lost China to the communists, and a major concern, obviously, with a Cold War concern at that time. But what we're going to talk about today is the Cultural Revolution launched by Mao Zedong in 1966. Now, it's important to understand that this is what it sounds like, a cultural revolution. So you're thinking that it's not just a political revolution, but a revolution in culture. Now, which certainly had political implications to it. Now, some of the ironies of it are that Mao is launching this this sort of renewed enthusiasm for communism, which is, supposedly egalitarian and sort of everyone is somewhat equal. But in the end, what it really does is to consolidate the power more so into Mao's hands. And it's challenging a lot of his political rivals. Many of the top communist leadership was purged during that time, embarrassed. Some were killed, but mostly a lot were, basically pushed down in the ranks. Most famously with Liu Shaoqi, but even more a name that we should remember as we continue here is Deng Xiaoping, who would later become the leader of China after Mao's death in 1976. But the Cultural Revolution that Mao launches in 1966, in some ways is a political revolution, but it is a cultural revolution, as I suggested. That one of the aspects is to destroy the four olds, okay? The old ways, the sort of old culture, customs, ideas, and habits. And some of the targets of this revolution are landlords, other wealthy people, but also intellectuals, including teachers, especially at universities. And that really what's happening is that Mao is encouraging sort of social attacks on people that aren't maybe following the communist line, which in a lot of ways just meant, weren't really sort of following the cult of Mao. And it's encouraging that, and in a lot of ways it gets out of control, that he isn't controlling everything that's happening. A lot of especially the very young people, are really buying into this, which is kind of ironic because by this time Mao's in his early 70s, but they are really just following him as a sort of viewpoint on the world. So Mao has this idea of this constant revolution, that you have to constantly be having revolutions to, sort of produce a more egalitarian society, or in his ideas anyways. So a lot of it is involving the destruction of the old culture, including religion. During this time in the late 60s, there was extensive destruction of Buddhist shrines and other historic temples that, of course, can never be replaced in terms of their historic value. There's purges of the party members, but he's trying to restore enthusiasm for communism. And we'll talk about the Red Guards and some other issues in the second video.